Camera down just a little bit. Just a hair. Hey guys, Roger Wakefield, AP, the expert plumber, coming to you here on YouTube, going live. And this is something we've been wanting to start doing. Looks good, Will. You can actually come over here and look at it if you want to. Cool. I got Will in the house. This is something that we've been wanting to start doing. So what we are trying to do is see how this looks, see how this sounds. We want to start doing a live stream on Mondays at 5 o'clock. And like we're calling it, talking poop with a plumber. I'm trying to check the sound, see how the sound sounds. Don't want to get too close. Don't want to blow it up or anything. Hello, Jeremy Vest. Glad to have you here, brother. How are you? I hope everything is going well. This is something that's new for us, but this is something that we've been wanting to try. And here's the deal. There's not a lot of plumbers on social media, not just putting information out there, but sharing it with people. And that's kind of what we wanted to start doing. Josephine DeSmith's in the house, got Pablo Molina. Molina, thank you good for telling me about the sound. I appreciate that. Josephine, be careful about my big tool back there. It's dangerous. So YouTube Live, and we've done really well. We were lucky enough to be one of the first 12 people to do LinkedIn Live, and we've got Jeremy in the house, and Jeremy's got LinkedIn Live too and doing some really neat things over there. Elevated One, how are you? Good to see you. And guys, I'm here by myself. So I know that you saw Will a while ago. He hung around to make sure everything got up and going good. Got Paul Peck, Drywall Tube. How are you, sir? Paul, I can't wait to see you. Man, Vid Summit is coming up. Jeremy Vest is in here. Jeremy, are you going to Vid Summit? I am actually going to Vid Summit, going to Social Media Marketing World. Josephine, I know that you said you're not coming this year, but you're going to try to work it in next year. That's great. So anyway, what I'm doing is I'm trying to get in and do some things. Yes, Josephine, I'm from America. I am right here, and I call it Dallas, Texas. I'm actually in Richardson, Texas, which is just northeast of Dallas. And Jeremy's actually living a little further north, up in McKinney. So yeah, it's kind of neat, kind of different. And we wanted to get in here today and try doing YouTube Live. We've been wanting to do it for a while. We are actually, man, I watched Jeremy do it. I watched Nick and Dee do it. And I watched Loria Petrucci and Dave do it. There's some really neat people doing it. And that's something that we've been wanting to do with plumbing. And we're getting where we get so many comments through our YouTube channel and our videos that I can't reply to all of them. And I try. And I mean, literally this morning, I think I sat down for about 3 hours and was doing comment after comment after comment. Man, that is fantastic. Stan Worthington, that's what my YouTube channel is about. People that want to start plumbing, people that want to learn plumbing. And we actually put up a mini course the other day on Thinkific. Stan, you said that you're going to work with your uncle. And man, I love that. I love that, people are keeping it in the family. They're bringing in their kids. They're bringing in their nephews. But one thing that we do, we put together this mini course, and you can find it in my YouTube videos, and there's a link to it. And what it is, I always tell people, find out what kind of plumber you want to be before you get started. And what I mean by that is there's residential, there's commercial, there's new construction, there's service, there's union, there's non-union. There's a lot of different things to consider. Now, just because you make up your mind to do one thing does not necessarily mean that's what you're going to stick with. And I say that because I started out as a commercial plumber doing new construction, and I was non-union, and I've ended up as a residential service plumber that's union. So I literally went just the opposite on all sides. And Paul, I agree. Getting to comments is so hard. And I'll tell you, and what I love about YouTube is literally, and man, Jeremy, I appreciate all your help here lately. We've been growing like crazy, and we are getting almost 100 new subscribers a day. So I'll tell those of y'all that haven't subscribed yet, man, click down there, ring that button, ring the bell, subscribe so you don't miss out on stuff, because we're putting some good stuff out there and it's really starting to take off and do good. And I love the fact that we get comments from so many people. And Paul, you're right. It is so hard to go in and reply to all of them, because that's something that I want to do myself. I've got 2 guys working on my media team, and they are fantastic. Yes, Josephine, this is the mustache. This is what it's all about right there. So, I've got 2 guys over there that are fantastic, and they understand a lot about plumbing from what they have learned. Actually, Will, who was in here a while ago, actually started out and worked with me as a videographer, or started out as an apprentice and worked with me 1 year. And I think that's what made him absolutely make up his mind to go to college, which I'm glad that he did. He learned a lot, got to be in, go to the fraternity. And it was really neat because it was fun to go down there and see him at school in his environment. And that was neat. But then again, it's great having him here because of things that he learned. And then Grayson got him out of SFA also. And Grayson actually took media, and he understands it. So when we brought him in, that really helped our editing. Plumbing Explained. See, everybody it's all about the mustache. It's part of the logo. It made it, as you see it, it's on the caps. And that was funny because I actually gave away some caps at Video Marketing World. And, I think that's what everybody, every time they came up, they were like, hey man, I want one of those caps. So it was pretty cool. But we want to talk plumbing. We want to teach people plumbing. And that's what I started the channel for. And it was really good because, if you go through and read my comments on YouTube, I've got 75 and 85-year-old grandparents that actually leave comments and say, look, I found your video. You taught me how to fix my toilet. Will was telling me about one this morning that I hadn't seen yet. And he said that a man gets on and he comments and he says, look, my wife is disabled and I'm disabled, so we really can't afford a plumber. So that we've had a leak on the water heater, and it was leaking so bad that their trailer park or trailer home actually slipped and got down into the clay. And then he said, but we hadn't had hot water for 2 weeks because the water heater itself, the burner was not working. And he saw my video on how to change out the burner assembly. He got online and ordered a burner assembly and changed it out. And guys, I got to tell you, that's why I do what I do. I love helping people. And in order to do that, you've got to give away value. You've got to give it away for free. And man, being able to teach people how to do those kind of things. And, I know a lot of plumbers leave comments for me all the time. Look, you're just taking money out of our pockets. And guys, that's not what it's about. But sometimes it's about doing the right thing for people. And I love the fact that I get comments like that. And I'll tell you what, it makes me feel good. So Pablo Molina, 2 years experience in plumbing and heating, trying to get back in the game, having no luck finding work. Pablo, where are you located at? Man, I think that there's always people looking for the right person. So Roger, I've been plumbing most of my life, 2nd generation plumber, really need to start my own shop. The only reason I haven't is fear of failure. Have a family, what's the best way? Man, I'll tell you what, and I've got videos. I don't know if you're subscribed to the channel or not, but I've got videos that teach people. Look, when I started my company, I walked out of a great job on a Friday afternoon. And I say Friday afternoon, it was literally just right after lunch. And I called my wife and I called her and said, look, I need you to come pick me up. I said, bring the Jeep. Because I had a company truck, I had a computer, I had credit cards, I had phones. I was the director of operations over the construction side. And I walked out on a Friday afternoon and decided, I don't like the way they're doing things. So it was up to me as to what I was going to do. I was either going to stay there and watch them do the wrong thing for people, or I was going to walk out and do what I wanted to do. So I didn't know if I was going to go to work for another company or what. And when I woke up Monday morning, my phone rang that I had actually done some stuff for her. She knew I was a plumber, and she called me and she said, I know you're busy, but lightning hit our house last night. We have a gas leak, and the gas company or the fire department came by late last night, turned it off. Is there anything you can do? So I went over there that day, and man, I tell people I've pretty much been busy since then. And it's kind of crazy, but I've got a good reputation in town. I've always tried to do the right thing, and I want to help people. So, man, you put those good things together, and then you learn the things that I've learned along the way, and it makes a big difference. So, getting my name out there and letting people know that I have my own company, but then starting to learn to network. And networking is the one thing. And, I'll tell you this, starting your own company is hard and it is scary. But what I would tell you right now is while you still have a job, get out and start networking. Find out where the networking is going on that'll put you in front of the people you need to be in front of. Josephine, I love that you watch my videos. I love that you comment. And, it's all about doing the right thing. And you make great music, and that's what you give to people. And, my thing's just plumbing. And not just being a plumber, though, learning how to give that to people that want to learn it. And I have people get in here all the time that, look, they don't understand plumbing at all. I've got high school kids that come in and say, look, I thought about being a plumber. I found your channel and I love it. And this is what I want to do. And you're right. Plumbing Explained, I didn't get all my work through that. But what I started doing is I had already known that this was coming. So what I did is I started letting people know, hey, look, I'm probably fixing to open my own plumbing company. I knew I wanted to do residential service. The company that I was at was trying to get into residential service. And all they really talked about was that they were going to tell people they specialized in customer service, but they weren't training in it. They were going to specialize in telling people that they had the best trained plumbers, but they weren't doing any training. Just as long as their plumber had a plumbing license, they said, hey, we've got the best plumbers. So I wanted to do better than that. And that's why we train our plumbers, not just in customer service, but in plumbing. And we make sure that they understand everything going on. So, and you live in Southern California. It's so funny. I was out in Anaheim a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, speaking at VidCon. And I stayed at a Airbnb. And I went to the gas station next door to get a Pepsi one night. And it was to mix with something. I don't drink Pepsi straight. But anyway, I went next door to get a Pepsi, and there was a plumbing truck there parked at the pumps, and I saw the young man walk in. So I sat outside and waited for him. And it was really neat because when he came out, we sat and talked, and he says, look, I don't have to have a plumbing license here. But we talked about different things, and his thing was, look, I'm learning plumbing here, but I want to move to Texas. I want to buy a house. I told him about my YouTube channel, and he actually got unsubscribed. But he said, look, I want to move to Texas and buy a house. Plumbing is the same, no matter where we learn it. Now, don't get me wrong. There's the two codes that we all go by, the IPC and the UPC. And the neat thing about it is it really doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter whether you're in California or Texas. Water goes downhill. You've got to learn to size the proper way. Now, there's different addendums everywhere, and there may be different things in California. You probably don't bury your water lines as deep as we do, but we still get freezing temperatures here in the wintertime. Probably not, or probably more so than y'all. But if you go to upstate New York, where they may bury a water line 3 foot deep, we may bury it 18 inches deep. So there's a lot of different things to look at. Big Tommy, Works in his family's commercial plumbing company as an on-site crew lead foreman, 14 employees, not around bidding. Where can I start to learn that if I'm not around it? Tommy, believe it or not, that there's YouTubes on estimating. There's videos on YouTube about estimating. And the neat thing about it is that there's software out there that will actually help you do that. And, you can, I don't know if you're subscribed or not, but send me a message, leave a comment on a video, and I'll get back in touch with you. But there's software out there that will help you learn to estimate. Some estimators, like for a residential company, will just try and do it by the fixture. They'll go through and count fixtures, and you can ballpark it and you can double check yourself. But man, there's a lot of other things to it. Now I got a question, Tommy, and this is just me thinking. What is it? Do you want to learn that to help grow your family's company, or are you eventually wanting to get out one day and do your own plumbing? And that's why I'm asking. Kenneth De La Cruz, what's up, Roger? Just started my apprenticeship about 3 months ago out here in Katy, Texas, with a company called MET Plumbing. Loving it so far, and watching your videos has definitely helped me. Kenneth, man, that's fantastic. I love it. We're actually, I'm actually fixing to start being in Houston a lot. We do a lot of networking all over the state of Texas, but networking in Houston and networking here in Dallas, that's something we've been working on, trying to help people grow their businesses. I actually speak on stage about LinkedIn and networking, and that's something that we're wanting to help people with and teach, plumbers, roofers, electricians, HVAC people how to get out and do things like that. So Big Tommy, if it's your family business and you're commercial now, are y'all thinking about getting into residential, or have y'all thought about it? And the reason I say that is I used to be superintendent, director of operations, general superintendent, all for large mechanical contractors here in Dallas. And I know that the profit margin in commercial is about 5 to 10%. In residential service, your profit margin should be around 15 to 20%. Now, we're not there. I don't do everything right, but I've also got additional marketing people. So I've got an overly heavy staff, but it's helping me do the things that I want to do. So those are things that I have to look at. So yeah, Plumbing Explained, you try to specialize in residential and service and repair. See, I love that part. And there's a lot to learn in it. I'm not going to say you should try to move, but I'll tell you what, people are looking for plumbers all across the United States. I know in Texas, a plumber can go just about anywhere. And if you specialize in residential service, man, I tell you, look, right here in Dallas, you can find 10 companies on just about any street corner looking for a plumber. So it's not a bad thing. Talk nerdy to me. I'm starting a plumbing company. I love your name, man. Starting a plumbing company and know plumbing very well, but I don't know about the procedures like estimates and other things. Should I always do an estimate before a job? One thing that I tell people is, and my plumbers are supposed to do it on every job they go to. I know, Josephine, it is. I like that. Every job that my guys go out on, and we have a service fee, and we tell people, look, it's an evaluation fee. But if I'm sending a licensed, drug-tested, insured plumber out to your house to look at something to see what's wrong with it, I think that there's value to that. I know plumbing companies right down the street that have apprentices in their trucks, and they're running apprentices all day, every day. And I mean, the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners can't keep up with it to have to put an end to it. Because here in Texas, you've actually got to be a licensed plumber, and it makes a big difference. So Pablo Molina, what I would tell you is, number one, go find my video about, let me teach you plumbing, and go through and watch it. And then ask yourself, what kind of plumber do you want to be? Do you want to be residential or commercial? Do you want to do new construction? Do you want to do service and repair? Do you want to be union or non-union? And once you can answer those questions, then that's going to tell you where to start looking. And what I mean by that is if you want to be a service plumber, what I would tell you is go to work at a service company and watch TV. Watch TV and see who's advertising, because chances are those are probably the busiest people around. And hopefully they're big enough that they have a training program or they have a system in place to help you come in and learn and grow to where they can put you in a truck. So tell me this: do you have to have a plumbing license in your state in order to do plumbing? Meaning in Texas, for me to put somebody in a truck and them to actually go out and work on a job at somebody's house by themselves, they have to have at least 2 years experience and have passed the tradesman exam. And it's not a difficult test, but it's one that it tests their knowledge of residential plumbing. 2 years after that, they can actually go past their journeyman exam, and that will let them actually go out and do commercial work. So you need a signature. Well, and that's one thing that we do is we do everything through an iPad. And once we go through and look at the job, we will go through and put together an estimate, and then we can have the customer sign it. And that's really good because it helps keep them from doing you wrong. And the only time I ever have customers argue or try to back out of paying their bill, they either didn't sign it or they just want to. Man, there's people out there that aren't good, and I don't know of a better way to tell you that. But yeah, if you get their signature before you do the work, man, you're in a lot better situation. Cliffy, hey Roger, just saying, hey, I'm the guy from Lubbock that contacted you a few months ago. I'm curious how often you actually go out and run service calls. Man, I was out running service calls this morning. One thing that I'll tell you, plumbers, one thing that's been really good for me, I talked about networking a while ago. So if you start getting out and networking and get in front of people, as a plumber, as a residential service plumber, it's been great for me to get out and talk to real estate agents. And the reason being is real estate agents have so many customers and they want good people. So if you can get out and build that relationship, now the real estate agent, when they refer you to somebody, they can tell that person, look, I know this guy. I've met this guy. I talked to this guy, whatever the case may be. And I'll tell you what, it makes all the difference in the world. Yeah, Plumbing Explained, always give them an estimate and make sure that they improve it. You're right. Come back to you, man, I know. Jose Sanchez, hey, bud, I have a question. Without a license in plumbing, I'm getting crap from other plumbers that work for big companies, but not having a plumbing license. But have I done jobs without a license? Jose, I haven't. I actually, man, I've had a license since I started plumbing. And you may have heard me talk a while ago about the company down the street that has apprentices. They're sending out to do work all the time. Here in Texas, that's illegal. Jose, where are you located? That'll make as Plumbing Explained says, depends on what state you're in. Pablo Molina says in Massachusetts, you have to have at least a journeyman license. California, you don't need a license for anything under 500. See, Plumbing Explained, that's neat because I didn't know how they broke that down. I know that the guy that I talked to that I was telling you about at the gas station, he said they've actually got levels, like an installer, a technician, of this or that. And that was pretty neat the way he set it up because he had actually moved up fairly well, and I think that's neat. Including parts. Okay, so see, man, that can be tough. So that means that person that's not licensed can't even do a water heater. Would that be correct? Plumbing Explained, got that. HVAC, Tommy Boy 91. Man, I built this set myself. I don't know how much of it y'all can, actually, I do know how much of it y'all can see. Man, we put the diamond plate on the wall. We put hardwood flooring back here. Okay, it's not really hardwood flooring, it's that laminate. But man, it turned out pretty good. I messed up on the LED lights a couple of times. But as you can see, man, this is all plumbing fittings. And I came in actually in one day. As y'all see my table here, what this is a 3 foot wide by 8 foot long countertop. We cut 45-degree angle on the end so I can have other people in here with me. So if y'all ever want to come in, let me interview you, man, we're good with it. If you hadn't checked out Jeremy Vest's channel, that's my YouTube coach, go over and check out his channel. He's got a video on there where he interviewed me in here, and that was actually really neat. But what I did is I took this and cut it down. I got this and then cut it in 3 strips to make the shelving out of, and then drilled the holes. And man, I came in, y'all can't see it, but the legs under this table, 2-inch steel pipe. I've got flanges on top and bottom. I've got T's tying it all together. We had so much fun doing this. And I mean, literally, I pretty much hand built all this, and it was a blast. Right near Anaheim, man, that's where I was. I actually spoke at VidCon. I spoke at VidCon about networking. Somebody else in here asked about networking a while ago. And networking, man, finding the right groups. I will tell you to, contact me, leave them how I can get in touch with you. What I will do is I can get in touch with you because we network through Master Networks. We also network through Network After Work. And I'll tell you another big one, which is great for me, has been LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is networking online. And, I'll tell you this, it's just like networking in person. You don't want to walk in and try to sell to people. But when people walk up and they see that you're a plumber, they have questions. They want to ask you about something that's happened in the past, a problem they have right now. First time I went in networking, I walked in with my wife. I said, okay, you go your way, I'm going mine. And I had never been networking, but she literally, when we left that evening, she looked at me and she said, oh my God, every time I looked up, you're back in the corner talking, you got your hands going 90 miles an hour. And man, it was fantastic. But the funny thing is the phone rang 3 times the next week. Guys, you can get out and network and grow your business rapidly. And finding the right networking group, some at daytime, some at night, but finding the right one is amazing. Jose, you're in Arizona. Okay, so if you can do jobs that don't require a license, man, if it's legal, you're good. So Kenneth, what I do is I literally do research on the networking groups in Dallas, networking groups in North Dallas and Frisco, the ones that I want to go to. But like I said, LinkedIn is a good one because you can start building connections on there. I'm actually speaking at a LinkedIn Live tomorrow night about networking and LinkedIn. So it's really good when you get to where you can communicate with people about what you do. And that's why I tell people, he wrote in here a while ago, look, I understand plumbing very well. And if you understand plumbing very well, you can get out in a group of people. And when they see you're a plumber, and I mean, dress nice, wear a starch shirt, wear starch jeans, always be clean. If you get really dirty at work, either go home and change or don't go. And, me and my wife talk about that all the time. Networking is how we've grown our business. It has probably been the thing that has helped us the most, that and then social media. But to me, social media is networking. I just do it right here online, so it's a little bit different. Yeah, Plumbing Explained, it has changed a couple of times. Literally, man, when we first started, it was just the diamond plate and the wood. Then we came in with the shelves. We've kind of changed what all we have on there a little bit. As you can see, I mean, I'm a Longhorn fan. I'm a plumber, but man, I have had so much fun with this. So let's go back to this. Handyman definitely has a stigma to it, and it does. But if legally, if you're allowed to do plumbing as a handyman where you work, there's nothing wrong with it, and the other plumbers shouldn't get mad. The Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners is having problems here in Texas, and we went down. I actually spoke at a rally, back in July, and there were 7,000 plumbers there, and I actually emceed the event and got up there and spoke. And it's all about protecting the health of the nation, and that's what the plumbing license is about. I got to tell you, I don't agree with states that don't have a plumbing license. And I was really disappointed in the fact that Texas almost let that happen. But luckily, Governor Abbott stepped up and said, hey, we're not going to let that happen. We want to protect the state. And he used an executive decision to extend it out almost 2 more years. Jose, that's something I will always tell my customers. I'm not licensed nor insured or bonded. Man, if you don't lie to them and it's legal, man, I got no problem with that. I would tell you this. If there is a license in your state and you can get it, man, work towards that. That is always going to give you extra credibility and extra clout in your pocket. Think you can still carry liability insurance. If you're a handyman, I would think so too. Plumbing Explained, I think you're right. Jason Geiker, 2 weeks into my new plumbing career, is there anything I can do at home to speed up the learning process? Man, if you're not subscribed to this channel, subscribe to it and go back and look at some of my videos about becoming a plumbing apprentice or becoming a great plumber. I've got 2 study guides that I really, really like. The IPC, they call it the Study Companion or Study Illustrated, the UPC Study Guide. The UPC Study Guide is what I always use to go down and take my exams. And I say that it wasn't around, or at least I don't think it was around in the very beginning. But literally, I've got a way that I do it. You know, the answers are in the back of the book. So I go through and highlight all the correct answers. And then I'll read through that about 4 times, just reading the question and the answer. And I will do that until I've got it down. Then what I do is I go through and I cover up the answers. I read the question. And if I don't know that answer 100%, I highlight it in pink. That way it sticks out to me. Then for the next couple of weeks, I will go through and just read the pink ones. And remember, when I say read it, I've highlighted the correct answer. So I read the question and the correct answer only. I do not read anything else. And then by the time it's time for me to take the test, pretty much I can just look at the test and I know my answers. I've studied it. I've got it. It's a piece of cake. And I'm telling y'all, that has been one thing that's been fantastic for me. Think you can still carry, and yeah, I think you're right. I think you can carry liability as a handyman. 2 weeks into, be as hands-on as possible, ask many questions as possible to the guy training you. And you're right, no question's a bad question. Man, that's how you're going to learn. I remember it's so funny. One of the first plumbers that I worked with, Rodney, he would read the blueprints and I'd get over and I'd be right next to him trying to look at what he's looking at and figure it out. And then, you know, he's always like, get away from me. So I literally went around to the other side of the sheetrock and I learned to read blueprints upside down. And one of the neat things is whenever they would get rid of that set of prints, I'd take the cover off of it so I could go home and study what all the symbols meant. And man, that helped me a lot. So it really did help me out a lot. The best ways I have used to grow my business, what are they? You know what? Man, here's what I like about networking. Here's what I like about social media. It works. It gets you out there. It gets people listening to you tell them how to fix their problems. And I mean, that can make a big difference. So if you don't want to do that, if you've got the money for pay-per-click, spend it. If you've got money and you want to spend on advertising, but you don't want to do pay-per-click on Google, here in Dallas, pay-per-click for the word plumbing can get up to about $150 a click. Now, imagine about 1 people out of 4 or 5 actually call you once they click. So I could pay, what, $625 for 5 clicks and maybe nobody called. Well, what if my budget is $600 a day? I've just spent $600 and didn't even get a click for it. I'd rather spend that money on social media, learning to do Facebook ads. Man, I don't know why you don't like networking, but I tell you what, it has been fantastic. Yelp is a lot like Google. You're going to pay pay-per-click. You're going to try to get that advertising. Yelp, Bing, Google, Yahoo. Don't know if y'all saw the article. I was actually written up in Yahoo Business and got interviewed. And man, it was a neat thing. but you start getting out there enough and people start seeing you, and they want to talk to you and find out how you do what you do. In the beginning, everybody asks, why are you doing? But now it's how are you doing it? Networking, advertising. Do I go to those Nexstar meetups? You know what, Kenneth, Nexstar has been recruiting me here lately. I actually joined a group called SGI, Success Group International. And it's really funny because there's a profit day coming up here in Dallas in a couple of weeks. They asked me to go speak at it, which I'm not going to be able to because at Master Networks, I'm actually teaching at the leadership training. And it's funny because I'm teaching about LinkedIn and social media. So, I have not done Nexstar. Let me know. I mean, leave me a comment here and let me know, what do you know about it? Is it good? Is it bad? What have you heard, or are you in it? Nexstar, my boss and some coworkers are heading out to San Antonio for one tomorrow. Good deal. Is it a recruiting deal, or are they already part of it? Kenneth, I'm just curious. My opinion on eliminating events according to code versus individual stack venting. As long as there's a vent going through the roof, I'm fine. Stack venting, carrying one all the way out, I'm fine with. I don't really like the Studer vents. I've used them. I've changed them out. There are certain times that it's really just about the only way to go. So I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I'm an old school plumber. I believe in carrying a vent all the way out the roof. That's where sewer gas should go, and I really like that idea. Jason, good. Thank you, sir. There's a deal in there. It's my mini course. Sign up for that. It's free. Go through it, and it'll ask you what kind of plumber you want to be. And I really think that helps a lot because, I wish I'd have known when I got into plumbing the difference between commercial and residential, service and new construction, union and non-union. If I'd have got into union right out of high school, I'd be retired right now. Matter of fact, I'd have been retired a few years back. And as you can see, I'm old, so I would enjoy that. Pablo, yes, I have worked on boilers. And I've demoed them. I've installed them. I've worked on big boilers. I've worked on little boilers. And it's a lot of fun. I've literally, there's not much in plumbing I haven't done. But then again, remember, guys, I've been doing this since 1980. So it's a lot of experience to gather over the years. Now, don't get me wrong, there's probably a lot of things I forgot about boilers. But yeah, I've worked on some boilers, chillers. I've worked in industrial. I've worked hospitals. I've done just about everything there is in plumbing. Yelp, Yelp is good. You get good reviews there. But to me, Yelp's like Google. You're going to pay a lot of money for clicks and advertising. I don't like that because if I'm going to spend my money, and if Jeremy's in there, he can still tell you about it. If I'm going to spend my money, I would rather spend my money on SEO because search engine optimization is what helps you get found on the internet. And if you do your SEO right, people will find you forever. It doesn't matter how much money you spend on pay-per-click. Once you quit, that phone stops ringing. Because, now don't get me wrong, people are going to say, well, you got referrals off those people and all that. Yes, you did. But I would rather really invest that money in SEO, something that's going to make that phone ring forever. Because to me, that's going to be huge. Plumbing Explained, it's really funny because LinkedIn has been fantastic for me, but I've really learned how to master it. YouTube has been good for me. Facebook's been good for me. And, Facebook, we still put out local, and it's really, I call them ads, but it's not an ad like, hey, we'll give you $50 off this. I literally do ads just to introduce myself to people, where the videos that I do on YouTube, where we go out and teach people how to do things, we'll put some of those videos out on Facebook to teach our community how they can fix their plumbing for free. And we really enjoy doing that. It helps them. like I said in the beginning, I don't know if you were here then, but I mean, I've got comments on my YouTube videos about 75 and 85-year-old grandparents and disabled people saying, look, from watching your videos, I've been able to fix my own plumbing. And I really do appreciate that. Sorry, I needed a water break there. Josephine, that's an interesting one to remember. In the beginning, people ask you why you do it. Later, they ask how. And Josephine, I mean, look, your YouTube channel is growing, and people are going to ask you that too, because you study like me. I don't know if you follow Jeremy Vest here, but he's with vidIQ, the CMO for vidIQ. He is phenomenal. He has probably helped me hands-on more than anybody in the world grow my YouTube channel. But Josephine, as you know, I still get up and watch Nick and Dee every Saturday or Sunday morning that they're on TV, or that they're on, and I call it TV. Every Saturday or Sunday morning that they're on, that they're doing their thing. I've learned so much from them. And as you know, it does. It helps a lot. LinkedIn generates a business. Never heard of LinkedIn. I need to get involved with that. Plumbing Explained, when you get in, connect with me. I'm on LinkedIn under Roger Wakefield. Send me a connection. It'll let you attach a note to it. Tell me who you are, and man, I'll teach you the things that I do on there. I've probably got some classes. I'll check and see. I do classes at different places around town or around the country. Sometimes we're able to record them, and if we do, I'll see if I can get you a class on LinkedIn. It's been great for me. So Kenneth, they're already a part of it. See, I need to check out Nexstar because I've had people tell me about it. One of the AC companies right down the street here in Richardson, Rescue Air, they're actually part of SGI and Nexstar. And so, there's apparently something good about it. Likes to use our program. I get it. It's very important for a plumber to know where they want to be. Man, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Plumbing Explained. In the beginning, we don't know because we don't know what we don't know. And that is the funny thing. When I first got into plumbing, and don't get me wrong, we had a plumber come to our house and fix things before. I remember that as a kid growing up. Excuse me. I remember that as a kid growing up, but it never really dawned on me that there were different types of plumbers, that there's a commercial plumber and a residential, service and new construction. I just thought, man, you just call a plumber and a plumber could do anything. Now, luckily for me, I can. But I'll tell you a story. I was at lunch one day. It was a union job not long after I got into the union. And it was a big job over here for Fujitsu. And I'm actually sitting at the picnic table eating lunch, and this guy sits down next to me. He's a plumber. He's with the company I'm with. And he literally, he about 5 minutes into lunch, he looks over at me and says, man, I gotta get out of here at 1 o'clock. I'm headed home. I was like, really, what's going on? He says, well, I got to go meet the plumber. And I looked at him kind of funny. I said, what do you mean you got to meet the plumber? And he says, well, I've got to go meet the plumber because my toilet's running. He's going to fix it. And I looked at him like he was crazy. I said, wait a minute. You called a plumber to come fix your toilet. I said, don't you know how to fix your toilet? And he looked at me like I was crazy. He said, they don't teach us how to fix our toilets, which, the union's got a great training program, but they don't teach residential service. They teach new construction, at least here in Dallas. So that just really blew my mind. But, man, gives me an opportunity because now I'm trying to teach residential to the guys around here that want to get into it. Plumbing Explained, do you recommend any good SEO? I tried using one years ago and got completely screwed. Yeah, let me tell you how many times that's happened to me. That's why I started learning the things that I've learned. Plumbing Explained, where you located? I believe you said you're in California. I've got SEO people. They're mostly here in Texas, but they work with people across the country. Will, who was actually in here earlier helping me set up, he's got a company. He does SEO. You can email Will at residentialservicegroup.com. Talk to him. And man, he's got a great system. He can come and look at your website, do a foundation, do an analysis on it. And, the thing is, and this is the thing that was really neat for me to learn, is that anytime I walked into a website company or an SEO company or anybody like that, they'd always ask me, look, what word do you want to be ranked for? You know what, man, I want to be ranked for plumbing in Dallas. I mean, if I can be ranked on the first page of Google for plumbing in Dallas, I'm going to be busy from now on. Well, the problem is that's a hard word to be ranked for. And you've got to have history. You've got to have everything set up perfect. There's so many things. And I've studied SEO now, so I understand. But there's so many things there to learn and so many things to make happen that, I mean, I can't do SEO and social media and run the plumbing company. And yes, I still run calls. So it's kind of hard to do everything, but man, learning it helped give me the knowledge that I could talk to the people correctly about it. So to me, the right SEO company walks in, they look at your system, they look at your page, they run analytics, they establish a baseline, and then they come to me and say, hey, here are the 10 or 15 pages you're really doing well on. Let's fix everything on your foundation. Then let's take those pages and make them great, and you'll get found even better, faster, and you won't have to spend as much money. And that was a huge lesson right there. I hope you wrote that down. Man, that's a good one. By the hour plus materials or fixed price, pros and cons. So hot H2O, hot water, here's what I do, brother. It's straightforward pricing. We use a flat rate pricing book. It's part of the SGI program, so it's been fantastic for us. I like it because there's a lot of things in there to help you go through and do things right. But also when you walk in with a book that is professional looking as mine and you present it, the people understand you are professional. You understand what you're doing. You're not making up prices. And the thing that I don't like about, T&M, time and material, is if I send my worst plumber out to your job, I'm going to make more money because it's going to take him longer to do it. And I really don't like that. That's what I like about the straightforward pricing guide. Do the same thing. It generates quite a bit of business for me. Man, it does. Josephine, thank you. May or not be the right question, but how did you design your logo? Did you pay a graphic designer or come up with yourself? Any advice on the logos? And there's different ways to go. Actually, this is my plumbing company logo. Don't know if you can see it, the foot, Texas Green Plumbing. On this is actually a leaf. So on my plumbing shirts, which I don't think I have one in here, that's green and this is blue. This logo is one that, I had won a contest. That's how I came up with the name, The Expert Plumber. I came up with won a contest where it was called the Next Expert Plumber and the Plumber Know-How Contest. They had one similar to this. We changed it up quite a bit. We made the face skinnier and taller, made the mustache longer, made a finer print around the head, a little thicker, bolder mustache, and then put our name on it, Roger Wakefield, the Expert Plumber. So, man, there are companies that'll do it. You can get on to, somebody help me here. There's services you can get on. You can literally go in and have people overseas on LinkedIn. There's a lot of people that do design. So you can always find somebody to help you do that. Blog about your plumbing projects. Man, Paul, thank you so much. Man, that is a great one right there. Fiverr, there you go, Fiverr. That's what I was thinking of, Paul. Man, you can go on Fiverr, go in there and look and tell people what you're looking for. And I mean, I think we've had ours redone a couple of times. I think last time it was $25. They had it done in a day or two, and they did it black on white, white on black, white on transparent, black on transparent. So, I mean, they give it to you every way that you can possibly use it. And it's great because I can send it straight over to my embroidery people. I've also got the back of my shirts done. And this is great because I get out and do the networking I'm telling you about, but also whenever I go to social media events, anything like that to speak, I've got this and people see that and they know that they can connect with Roger Wakefield on YouTube or LinkedIn. And man, it helps. But, Paul wrote right there, and that's really a good one. You do a blog on your website, and you should have a page on your website specifically for your blogs. And, there's a guy out there named Marcus Sheridan, the sales line. And he is fantastic because he literally teaches you how to do videos, how to get people to watch those videos, and, what videos are good to make. And, he said that one of his best videos was literally, every customer is not for me and you may not be my customer. And he talks about why he's more expensive than other people. And, that he doesn't take shortcuts and he doesn't do this and he doesn't do that. And that's fantastic. Plumbing Explained, I'm glad you're taking notes, man. Hudson Yarborough. Hey, I'm interested in becoming a plumber, still in high school at the moment. Is it realistic to think that I could eventually start up my own plumbing company in the future? Hudson, look at me, man. I'm your example right here. I started plumbing in high school, actually quit high school, ended up going back and graduating with my class. But, man, it's so much easier now because y'all have all the knowledge out there to help you learn. Man, when I was young, if I wanted to learn how to open my own company, I had to go to the library. And I hate to tell you, I probably wasn't really the library type. But man, there's so much information out there that you can learn. Yes, there's trade schools. There's all kinds of different things. But here's what I would tell you is, I've got a class in here. Go watch one of my videos. Let me teach you plumbing. And I've got a class that and we were talking about it just a while ago. How do you know what kind of plumber you want to be? There's residential, there's commercial, there's new construction, there's service, there's union, there's non-union. There's a lot of different things that you need to ask yourself. And in that we've got a free mini course, and you can go through it and kind of decide what kind of plumber you want to be. And then start thinking about those jobs or thinking about how to learn that. But we're actually putting together another course right now where we're teaching the basics. And I mean, this first course is literally, we've got our first one up, and it literally just talks about plumbing safety because everything we do has to start with plumbing. But it's not just your safety, it's the safety of the homeowner in the house you walk in, their family, their pets, their children, anything like that. So, Plumbing Explained is correct. Yes, you can. Alien Ables, glad to see you here, man. I am doing well. Yes, and I do remember you very much. Sean Donovan, an Irish name. Are you in Boston, man? I'm attempting to take the Journeyman Plumber's exam. I was told the 2012 UPC was the study material. You know what, Sean? And I think you messaged me on this. Man, that may be what the Texas State Board is still going by. I don't know if they've updated their test. Man, I've already got copies of the 2018 UPC study guide. They may still be going by the 2012. I hate to say it, but man, it's crazy. It needs to be updated, but the Texas State Board, we've had problems with it, and we still need help with it. Hudson, you're welcome. Man, I hope you do take that mini course and check it out. Let me know what you think about it. Like I said, we are putting together another digital course. This one won't be free, but we're going to try to keep the price down very low. And I'll tell you why I did this. I was actually out with one of my apprentices one day, and I was running the call. Yes, y'all, I really do plumbing. I was running the call, and I like that, Sean. I'm glad you're in Local 12. Tell Harry Brett that Roger Wakefield said hello. So I was actually out running a call, and I was talking to my apprentice, and I told him that I had an idea. I wanted to make digital courses to teach plumbers, electricians, HVAC techs, landscapers, window cleaners, roofers, housekeepers, anybody that works in the residential service industry. I wanted to help teach networking, social media, video, and SEO. And he looked at me like I was crazy. And he said, Roger, look, he said, the unions teach commercial plumbing. You're a great residential plumber. Why don't you teach people how to do basic residential plumbing. And I was just like, wow, man, I love that idea. So that's what we're working on. Yeah, since you're in high school, do your research, find the shop you want to apprentice under. Absolutely. And you know what? I'll expand on that too, Hudson. Start reaching out to that plumbing company now. Ask them, look, are y'all ever open on the weekends? Can I come up here and learn? Are you open late? Can I come in the afternoons and just kind of get to know y'all and let them know that you're interested in working for them? Hudson, I don't remember if I asked where you're at or not, but if I haven't, where are you at? Where are you located? Plumbing Explained, worked for them for 4 to 6 years, and you'll be ready to start a shop if you want. And I'd say maybe even give it a little bit longer than that. And the reason I say that is, guys, starting your plumbing company is not easy. There's a lot of behind the scenes thing. I don't know if any of y'all know Michael Gerber. He wrote the E-Myth books. And Michael Gerber is an amazing person. I believe Forbes or Small Business Inc., somebody called him like the small business guru. And I hired him to be my first coach. And he was great. He told me what I needed to do, but I needed somebody to show me how to do it. And that is what I needed. So even though that I worked with him for half a year, and don't get me wrong, it was extremely beneficial for me, I had to find somebody else. And that's what I ended up going to SGI for. We talked about that a while ago with Hudson. No, it wasn't. It was with Kenneth. So anyway, that's been a big deal for me, finding people to show me the right things. Guys, I'm a great plumber, but I don't understand budgeting and billing and how to set up a price book and how to do so many different things. And SGI has been really good for me for that. If y'all want to find out any more of it, give me a shout and let me know. So Sean, that's fantastic, man. Since you're in high school, yes, indeed. And Paul's right there. Blogging about each one of his YouTube videos. You can write a blog to it and a link to it. And man, Paul is, if y'all have not seen his YouTube channel, go over there and subscribe to Paul Peck Drywall Tube. This guy's fantastic. His videos are good. And he's a lot like me. He teaches you how to do sheetrock. And not just sheetrock, but how to do everything, how to skim coat, how to remove the popcorn from the ceiling. So many different things. And the quality is amazing. And guys, let me tell you what, there's not a lot of people that I really brag on YouTube in the residential service industry because most people don't do it right. And I don't mean that bad, but it's the truth. But I'll tell y'all what, Paul Peck is fantastic. So I definitely recommend going over there and subscribing and seeing what he does, because he does it a little bit different than me. 6 to 9 years, 5 to 10 years, somewhere around in there, Plumbing Explained. If I'd have started it that young, I'd have screwed it up. Man, I know I would have messed up. There's a lot of things that I need to work on. But you know what? As I got older and more focused, then I started making better decisions. Do I have any good recommendations how to prevent yourself from being scammed? Man, we were talking about it earlier, talk nerdy to me. Man, getting them to sign up front is one thing. We do, like I said earlier, we charge a service call and evaluation fee. And to be honest, that turns away a lot of people. But to be honest, those people probably aren't my customer anyway. If they don't want a licensed, drug-tested, background check plumber out there to look at it and give them an honest evaluation of what needs to be done, that they may not be my people anyway. That's what I'm in my channel to do. I wanted to teach and help educate my community and people around the world. Stop allowing these shady plumbing shops. You know what, man? You're right. Plumbing Explained. I fight plumbing companies around here all the time. I tell people about them. I'm honest about them. There are plumbing companies and plumbers around here that don't do the right thing. We specialize in slab leaks and leak detection. And I think we're one of the best around at it. And it's funny because when we walk into houses and they tell us, oh, well, we've already had somebody come out and they said there's not a leak. Well, as soon as they tell me what company it is, I've literally got plumbing companies here in Dallas that will run a camera in through your two-way cleanout and tell you if you do or don't have a leak. And guys, I hate to tell you, if you're a plumber, you know that just doesn't happen. Man, getting scammed. Man, that's one that we've all got to worry about. Have you ever had a situation like that before? Oh, yeah. Talk nerdy to me. There's always somebody out there trying to rip you off every day. And it's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen. There's not a lot we can do about it. But what I would say is, man, just always keep your eyes and ears open. Talk to your customers. If you think something isn't right, it's probably not. And don't be afraid to walk away from a job because you think you're going to lose money, because, man, there's a lot of people here that they will call you and hire you and know they are not going to pay you. I had a bad review on the Better Business Bureau, and it's still there. And a lady called, and I mean, I jumped through hoops to get this lady lived right next to a house that she had that was a rental. She had a gas leak, called me out. We went out and started testing it, and we told her, look, we're just going to have to replace what's under the house. Gave her a price to do that. And she says, look, anything, I need the gas turned back on. So I go down to pull the permit, and the house is in a historic district. So I called her and said, ma'am, you didn't tell me this is in a historic district. They won't even let me pull a permit. I've got to go down to downtown Dallas. I've got to talk to the Historical Society. And she's like, look, do whatever you've got to do. And I mean, I've got all this in text. Do whatever you have to do. I need this gas on. Please hurry. And even when I first went to the city, they told me, they said, it will take 7 to 10 days to get a permit. I jumped through hoops. I went from the inspection department to the Historical Society, to the inspection department, to the Historical Society, and back. And I kept telling her all the time, look, I'm doing what I have to do, but it's not cheap. She says, whatever it is. We finished after the second day because I got that permit that day. We got it inspected the next morning, and I sent her her invoice. And she literally calls me at 9 o'clock and says, I'm sitting in front of my computer, and I have your company pulled up on the Better Business Bureau. And if you don't give me a discount, I'm going to write you a bad review. And I'm not going to tell you what I called her, but I said, you better make sure you spell my name right. Because, guys, I'm not going to let people do that to me. You want to write me a bad review? Write it. I can argue that. But I am not just going to let you steal from me. And that's what she was trying to do. So anyway, man, I kind of got hot and puffy on that one. Plumbing Explained. That's why I made my channel to do, Roger. I like that. I wanted to teach and help educate my community and people around the world. Stop allowing those shady plumbing shops. Absolutely. Alien Ables let you know that I got a job as a helper, and I'm loving it. Been doing it for a bit over a month. Plan on making it my career. New construction, ground in and top out. So you're doing roughs and you're doing top outs. Man, that is fantastic. 2, 3, and 4-inch cast iron. It's a lot of fun. You're going to have fun. Cesar Rueda Ayala. Cesar Ayala. Don't know if you remember, but I commented that I was from Seattle in one of your live streams. But anyways, just joined a pre-apprentice. Man, that's fantastic. So is that with the union in Seattle, or is that with one of the open shop companies? Cesar, I know some companies up there that are really, really good. They're part of the SGI group. So Josephine, good night. You have an amazing week yourself. It's good to see you here, and I'll talk to you soon. So Cesar, there's a lot of good companies up there. I'm trying to remember, did you say you're doing commercial, residential? I see you're doing new construction, in-ground top outs. Oh, that's Alien. Okay. Yeah, Cesar, what are you doing? I'm glad you're in a pre-apprentice, so I'm assuming it's probably union. But, man, that's fantastic. Yeah, and Plumbing Explained, I tried opening my own company before, and I tell you what, I was making good money, but I was blowing it. I didn't understand reinvesting in my company. You know, every plumber that works for somebody thinks, hey, I just made you $1,000 today. Well, guys, that $1,000 doesn't go in your pocket. When a plumber goes out and charges a customer $1,000, if you're doing everything perfect, completely perfect, maybe $200 goes in your pocket. If you're doing things really, really great, maybe $150 goes in your pocket. If you've got too many people in the office like I do, not much money goes in your pocket. But I've got some great video editors and content people, and man, I love what we do. Y'all saw Will working late, getting ready to help me set up. So I do, man. I love my people, and they do a great job. Plumbing Explained, why do you hate gas work? Brother, that is a good job, and I love it. Kylie, don't know why you'd write something like that, but you're allowed to do whatever you want to do, I guess. Anyway, see ya. So I don't have a moderator, so I get to do that myself. But Kylie Kimber, man, I'm here working my tail off trying to make the world better for people. So hope you're doing the same. John Kramer, what's up from Pennsylvania? Man, that's fantastic. Got some great people up there. William Knighton, Mr. Wakefield. No, that's my dad. I'm just Roger. Plumbing for almost 20 years. Most fun. And actually at work, my biggest thing is I love figuring out problem is. And it's really funny because that's one thing that I tell people is, and I don't know if you've seen my mini course that I did, William. I love it. But the cool thing about it is, man, I love helping people. And when you talk about that, when I talk about my mini course, one of the things I tell people is, I don't know if you want to do construction or service. And what I tell people is new construction is like building things. Service is like fixing things. And man, I've always been one of those people. I love solving problems and a very analytical mind, finding the problem and then fixing it. William, I still like black screw pipe. I don't install a lot of track pipe or gas pipe or God, what are the different names for it? I'm certified to repair a lot of it, but I don't install a lot of it. Remember, we're a residential service company, so that's really what I do most of is repairs. Track pipe, it's popular. CSST, I mean, man, it works. Paul Mons, any advice to make a resume as a plumber? I'm currently taking a piping foundation course and was wondering what sort of work should I specialize in? Well, Paul, first thing I'd ask you is, where are you taking your course? What kind of a foundation course are you taking? Because I don't know if you were in a while ago, I'm actually putting together a digital course for people. So I'm just kind of curious to what's out there. And if you don't mind telling me, what'd you end up having to pay for an introductory course? A resume, if you don't have any experience, I mean, your certificate of completion is probably going to be enough to help tell somebody that you've got some experience. But what I'd ask you is, where are you located and what are the licensing requirements in your area? America the Brave, I'm in an apprenticeship, a plumbing company, go to tech college for plumbing on my last year, but at work they say school isn't worth it. I thought the new generation had to go. America the Brave, I'm not going to tell you have to go to school. The one thing that I do like about some of the schools, like I used to be an instructor in the Joint Apprentice Training Center in the union, and that was good because these guys had jobs working for union contractors, so the union contractors understood what they were learning. What I will tell you is that me as an open shop company right now, if you came in and showed me a certificate from Fred's Plumbing Company or Fred's Plumbing Training Center, I don't know what Fred's teaching you. Now, go back to what I was saying a while ago. I'm putting together a digital course, and there's a lot of plumbing companies that say, look, I don't care if you've taken Roger's course or not, but here's what I will tell you. When you go in and you tell them, and maybe this is what you do with your resume, but you go in and you tell them, I can pull and reset a toilet. I can rebuild a shower valve. I can remove and replace a shower valve. I can rebuild cartridges. I can rebuild a toilet tank. I can diagnose and remove and replace a water heater, and you start giving them a list of what all you are capable of doing, that may be a resume that may get their attention. Now, if they ask you, where did you learn these things? And you tell them, well, Fred's plumbing school. Well, they may know Fred. They may say, well, I don't like the way he teaches or what he teaches. So I don't know how much clout that's going to give you. So that's kind of interesting. I'm interested in seeing how that goes. Butt fusion PE pipe, man, I've done that. Man, I love it. I've done acid waste. God, I've done all kinds of pipe. There's not much in plumbing I hadn't do. I hate to say it. And you're right. Plumbing Explained, what they mean. Hands-on training is the best training you'll get. And that's why in my course, the one that I'm putting together, I'm literally teaching people how to do things and then telling them, look, go home and practice this. Meaning when I show you how to pull and reset a toilet, you can go down to the box store and spend about $7 or $8 on the products, the wax ring, the toilet bolts, maybe even a new supply line, a tube of caulk, but practice pulling and resetting your toilet. That way you've done it and you can learn from it. Plumbing Explained says, yeah, I wish I'd have gone to school. Man, the very basics and the technical side are huge. And even going to work with a plumber, you're not going to learn those. So going to school, you're getting some education that most plumbers probably aren't getting. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just trying to sell the value of that to a company that you're trying to go to work for. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. None of y'all are talking. I'm joking. So anyway, yeah, Plumbing Explained. After I joined the union after 17 years of experience. I joined in 97, started plumbing in 80. And I've been in the union since then. But I started teaching in the union, probably 2004, 2005, somewhere around in there. And I loved teaching. I loved seeing the students that wanted to learn, male and female, both, any age. I had anywhere from 18 to 55. And you see people that want to really come in and learn and how focused and driven to detail and attention they are. It is fantastic. Question part 2 is plumbing diploma ever worth it to plumbing companies? I'm told it holds no weight. And that's what we just talked about. So you're probably right. I don't know that it does, but if you can sell the value of the fact that, look, I've learned a lot of things your plumbers haven't. What I learned open shop and what I learned and taught in the union were two different things. Open shop, man, I could stovepipe better than anybody. I can hold up 245, eyeball them, pull a measurement, and man, be dead on. But after I joined the union, I can also put a laser level down, measure center to center, multiply by 1.41, and subtract the makeup and be dead on too. So there's different ways to learn. There's different ways to teach. But I'm telling you, that diploma is going to help you. Whether the plumbing company you go to work for recognizes that or gives you credit for that or not, it will help you and it will make you a better person. 6-month course, $3,700, located in Victoria, Canada. Man, it's funny. I don't remember the Prime Minister's name. I'm sure you can tell me. He actually, I saw a deal on LinkedIn the other day that they are putting together, man, it's almost like a committee trying to help recruit people into the trades. And I love that. I actually sent him a connection request on LinkedIn because, man, I travel around the United States speaking about plumbing, about social media, and about LinkedIn and different things. So I sent him a letter and said, look, and I get a lot of people from Canada watching my videos. Let me see, there's 13 of y'all in here right now. I will tell each one of y'all, if you will tell 4,000 of your closest friends about my channel, that'll help my subscriber count move up, and maybe I can get close to Paul Peck, drywall tube. Guys, I love what I do. And the fact that I get to go out and help homeowners and I'm helping them the right way. I'm not trying to steal from them. I'm not trying to rob from them. I'm trying to do things the right way. And I love that. And if I can help teach young men and women, old men and women that want to get into the trade, it doesn't matter to me. I've seen people from the age of 18 to 55 start their apprenticeship. So, man, anybody can do it. You've just got to ask yourself, am I physically capable? Sometimes we got to lift water heaters. And, I've made videos about, look, number one, take care of your body first. Find a way to work smarter, not harder. Plumbing Explained. I don't always use 2 wax rings. I do like the thick ones. I like the cones. So I do that a lot. Paul, I'm going to come back and check the Plumbing and Piping Foundation. Is that put on by the Canadian government, or is that just a private entity? $3,700, I'm assuming dollars, or is that Canadian money? And man, I'm asking because I've never been to Canada yet, but I do plan on getting there. Dragon's Rage. Finished my first week of pre-employment plumbing at college. Man, I'm glad you love my videos. I appreciate it. Dragon Rage and Paul, y'all are both in Canada. Paul's in Victoria. Dragon Rage, where are you located at? Plumbing Explained. Have an opportunity to potentially take a union job working for the city. I have 15 years of experience. Do you think I should do that before I pursue starting my own shop? Man, that's a tough one. I've enjoyed being in the union. Maybe not so much as being a union company as an owner, because there's a lot of things that need to be worked on the system. I pay for all my guys' insurance and I pay for all their benefits. The thing that's tough on me is that there's no incentive program, and I've hired some plumbers that literally just wanted the hours, so they could turn a 3-hour job into an 8-hour job. They could turn a 5-hour job into overtime, and that's where companies like me lose money. So I'm working on a system to try to make that better, but then I've got to get it approved by the union. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. So Plumbing Explained, man, that's one you may want to shoot me an email, and we can talk about. You said going to work for the city, potentially take a union job working for the city. I'd be interested in finding out more about that. America the Brave, in the company I'm in, all they say plumbing is digging. All we do is digging, and they say it's all I'll ever do if I want to be a plumber. No, it's not true. You may have to dig in the beginning, but once you start learning how to put the pipe in and you start learning how to do it better than the other people around you, you're going to move up where you don't ever touch that shovel again. And that can really happen. $12 an hour after my apprenticeship, will you earn more? Absolutely. When you start getting, and it says you're in the South. What part of the South are you in? Where are you located? Stan Worthington says, I'm starting out at $25 an hour, but that's because I'll be working under a government contract or something. Don't have too much info on it. That's what is it, the dram shop laws or something like that. And that's not it. It's Bacon Davis. God, I used to be a bartender, so dram shop laws. Isn't that what that was? Got to think on that. So Stan Worth, that's interesting. It's probably the Bacon Davis, there's certain wages that have to be paid for people on government projects. So that makes sense. Paul, man, I wish I could tell you, that I work out to stay in shape. I used to. I've got to start doing it again because it's really, man, it's tough on your body when you don't. And I know that the work we do is hard, but man, we've got to stay in shape. And I really got to work out a lot more than I am. I used to get up every morning and get on the treadmill for an hour and 5 minutes. I'd do 4 miles in an hour. And then for 5 minutes, I'd do 3 miles an hour. And that just give me a quarter mile to cool down in. Man, I loved it. It was great for me. And my jeans fit a lot better than they do right now. They're a little tight. But things that I got to work on. But it's all good. Uh, America the Brave, we're out in the sunlight. How do I build my stamina? Man, drink lots of water. And when you got to set down, you do what you got to do. But I will tell you this, just hydrate a lot. That'll help you a lot. And the more you do it, the more you'll get used to it. And you'll get to where as long as you stay hydrated, you'll be fine. Just remember, stay hydrated. That's rule number one. Plumbing Explained, you'll be an apprentice for 6 years. If all you're doing is digging, man, that's not fair at all. And you're right. That's not an apprenticeship. That's just a laborer. And, if all that they're ever going to have you do is be on a shovel, I'd start finding another company to go to work for. So Dragon's Rage is in Manitoba. Fantastic. Yeah. They should be hiring laborers. You're right. Plumbing is an expertise. We don't want to waste our time digging, and that's right. But and here's what I would tell you too. America the Brave, go back and think about it. Start learning plumbing. Start studying plumbing. That way, when you see the guys working on plumbing, you know what they're doing, and you can talk intelligently about that with them. They're going to understand that you know about it, and that may possibly open doors. I've got a link in one of my descriptions, actually a lot of them, where I talk about learning plumbing, and it's a link to the 2018 UPC study guide. And I've got a video where I talk about how I use it to study. And, used to, I told people to buy that book before they go study for their journeyman exam or their master exam. Now I tell people like you, people wanting to get into the trade or people already in it that want to learn to get better, buy that study guide and start studying it. Start learning plumbing. If I would have had something to study, and guys, when I was an apprentice in Texas, you had to have 3 years experience. At 2 years, I was ready to go take my test. I worked around intelligent plumbers that taught me the right things, and that really did help me a lot. So getting to communicate with them and learn, but they didn't just have me on a shovel. They wanted to teach me plumbing. And they were smart plumbers and good plumbers, and they also always asked me questions. And, what size is a shower drain? How long can this trap arm be? And things like that. And I mean, they asked me questions like that all day. And, you started learning it even when you didn't realize that's what you were learning. So that was big. Plumbing Explained and expertise. Don't want to waste our time. You are right. 10% of what he does. Yeah. We've got to take time to teach people plumbing. And that's why I do what I do. I want to help people learn plumbing and learn it the right way, because, we've been fighting something here in Texas, our plumbing license, the Texas State Board, TDLR, a lot of different things. But the big deal to me is that, I want to make sure that plumbers apprentices are taught the right way. And y'all can go back and read a lot of my comments. Some of these guys work with plumbers that they do people wrong. They cheat people. And, I tell them, look, you can always get away from a plumbing company like that. America the Braves in Georgia. Good. Here's what I would tell you. If you're not happy where you're at, look at the TV if you want to do residential service and see who's advertising on there. If you want to do commercial, go look at the big jobs. Look for the cranes on the skyline, drive over by them, and communicate with the people when they leave and say, hey, who's the plumbing company here? Or maybe even walk into the superintendent's office and say, hey, I'm looking for a job plumbing. I would like to find out how to get in touch with the plumbing company. And if it's a real big job, they may actually have a job site trailer there where you can go in and talk to somebody. Justin Lee, hello, Roger. I'm working in Colorado, service and some new construction. Love your videos and what you're doing to help others. Justin, thank you so much. Guys, if y'all hadn't done so yet, I'll ask you, please subscribe and ring the bell, because we put out 3 new videos a week. But also, if you really like what we do, tell 4,000 of your closest friends. We're trying to grow our channel and reach more people, because, man, we want to teach not just plumbers, but homeowners. There's things that you can do yourself. And when you go through and read some of the comments on my YouTube channel, you'll know why. Because I've got elderly, I've got disabled, I've got amazing people that say, look, I could not afford to call somebody. And I talked about one earlier. A guy left a comment on it, and I hadn't even seen it yet. Will told me about it. But it said, my wife is disabled and I'm disabled. They live in a trailer. The leak was so bad that the trailer is actually shifting. They had to shut the water off till they could get it fixed. Then they turned it back on. The water heater didn't work. Excuse me. He saw my video on how to change the burner assembly. He ordered it and changed it himself because he couldn't afford a plumber. But he said, now we have hot water. And they hadn't had hot water in 2 weeks. So, man, when you do stuff like that, man, it makes you feel good. And that's why we do what we do. So I'm going to be shutting down here in a little bit so I can get out of here. It is 6:30 here in Dallas, Texas. Justin, man, I really do appreciate that. Thank you. Plumbing Explained, taking my wife to work, Roger. I'll be right back. I will not be here, probably so. Be right back. Hopefully you're here, but if not, state your email address. I'll write it down. Guys, you can email me. It's Roger, ROGER, at txgpc.com. If you've seen the videos where I've got the big banner behind me, my plumbing company is Texas Green Plumbing, www.txgpc.com. You can always go in there and leave a message there. There's ways to contact us. Also, just go look at my website. Look at things that we've done there because we do have blogs there. We do have a pretty good website. And that's a neat trick that I learned from one of my website guys. Stan Worthington. Yes, again, I'm starting with my uncle, so he hadn't told me too much. Said that he has a 2-year government contract. Fantastic. Usually my apprentices normally start out here in the Dallas area at $16 an hour. So 15 to 25 around there where you were talking is not bad at all. I started my own, man, it's funny. Paul, that's a good question. I started my own company almost 5 years ago now. In the beginning, it was just me. But once I started bringing people on, we started doing $1 million a year pretty quick. And I know that's funny for a company starting out, but it didn't take me long to get to 3 plumbers. And 3 plumbers really ought to be able to run about $350,000 each on a truck. So that puts you right around that $1 million mark. But a lot of it from networking connected me with some big property management companies and a lot of real estate agents that told a lot of people about me. And that's been huge. And like I said, I started it with no money. I started getting out and networking, meeting people, and learning marketing, social media, anything I could to help me. And it's helped a lot. Dennis Conyers, plumber in Connecticut. Thanks for the informative chats and videos. Man, I love it. And I really do. I want to start doing this every Monday at about 5 o'clock. Go for anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. Man, my numbers keep bouncing back up, so maybe I'll stay on a little bit longer. It is starting to get low, so I thought, you know what, I'll just get out of here and let everybody go home. Man, I love plumbing, and I can tell from the comments that I'm getting here, a lot of people here do too, and it's neat. Dennis, I don't know if you're subscribed to the channel or not, but we make videos to tell people, not just plumbers, but homeowners, about the things that they can do. I talk about different products. I've talked about leak detection products because we specialize in leak detection and slab leak repairs. A lot of y'all, if you've got basements where you live, do me a favor in the comments right now, put basements, because I've got questions for y'all, and I want to see how many of y'all have that. But the funny thing to me is all the homes here in the Dallas area are slab on grade. And the slab on grade here, we're on clay, and the houses shift depending on if it gets too dry, if it gets too wet. There's a lot of different things that can cause that. Looks like we don't have anybody with basements, so that's different. But the houses shift and you get breaks in either the sewer lines or water lines. And man, I've just invested a ton of money trying to figure out what the best product is. And, we've done that. Yeah. Yeah. Paul, welcome back, brother. I was telling everybody here they need to go subscribe to your channel because, the videos, the things you teach are amazing. And the quality of your channel is fantastic. But we specialize in slab leaks and leak detection. And that's one thing I tell companies starting out too. Find a niche, find something that you can do better than most people and get really good at it. And that has helped us grow because I've got a lot of people, a lot of other plumbing companies that call me to do slab leaks and leak detection because they know we're good at it. And investing in that equipment, learning what works best or better than others, man, it's a big difference. Okay, so Dennis has got basements up there. And then Williams mostly slab. Okay, but there are basements. Absolutely. Paul, I love that. Make sure you tell 4,000 of your closest friends. Family's extra. They don't count in that 4,000. That's why I told them, Paul, a while ago, they need to tell 4,000 of their closest friends because I'm trying to grow my channel as big as yours. Ghazi, thank you so much. I love it. It's fun, and that's why, and that's why people enjoy it because I'm like Paul. I love what I do, and love telling people about it and showing people tips and tricks and secrets and how to do things that maybe other people aren't doing. But you can also tell by watching somebody like that and the quality of their work. Some people want to be better than others, and to me that's huge because I learned a long time ago that if I would get up every morning and study for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, that in about 6 months, I could be in the top 5% of my industry. And I study new tools, new techniques, new materials. I study marketing. I study branding. There's so many different things to learn, but I never quit. And it wasn't just for 6 months. I never quit. And I mean, Paul here, I see Paul on the weekends studying YouTube. We both do. And, Josephine was in here a while ago. I see her in there studying. And, if you want to be good at something or you want to be better at something or you want to be great at something, study and keep studying, keep learning, keep finding out how to get 1% better every day. And if you keep doing that, it is going to make you such an amazing plumber, electrician, engineer, drywall hanger, whatever it is you want to do, you're going to get good at it. And man, that is really huge. Dennis, I'm glad you subscribed. Thank you so much. William Cook's on slab. Paul, at least 4,000. Okay, I just kind of throw that number out, at least that number. Ghazi, I'll be in the U.S. within 10 months, have a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. So how can I start there? Apprentice or journeyman? Okay, Ghazi, it depends on where you move to and how much you really know about plumbing. And I say that not in a bad way, but like I said earlier, I worked out at Texas Instruments for years, and I worked with a lot of mechanical engineers, and a lot of them, I understood I probably should have become a mechanical engineer because I understand the hydrodynamics. I understand water. I understand a lot of the theories. That doesn't mean that understanding all that would make me a good plumber, because a plumber is more about installing, not even designing, but installing. If you've got a degree as a mechanical engineer, you need to ask yourself, do you want to learn plumbing, or do you actually just want to work for a big plumbing company doing an engineering work? And the reason I say that is back whenever I was general superintendent on some of the biggest projects in Dallas, I always had project managers or engineers that I could turn to for certain things. And there's some big mechanical contractors here in the United States that hire mechanical engineers all the time. And So, you can talk to me more and let me know what is it you wish to become. And if it's a plumber and own your own plumbing company one day, being a mechanical engineer is going to help you learn a lot of things, but it's not going to help you as a plumber because, like I said, a plumber is mainly an installer. An estimator maybe got an engineer, somebody to help design the plumbing systems, and there's big mechanical contractors that do that and general contractors that do it also. William Cook, you know what? After Hours Plumbing Company to learn, man, I've seen people do that. I've seen people contact companies that say, look, I want to, I work during the day, but I would like to work as an apprentice in the evening. And there are companies that have people, that run calls around the clock. And, I'm not saying you can't do it. I don't know how you'd go about finding that job. Maybe do like I said a while ago. Look at who's advertising. Look at who is doing the most commercials on TV and call them, especially if they say, hey, look, we work 24 hours. Call them and say, look, I want to learn plumbing, but I need to work at night because I have a daytime job or whatever your reason is. I think that's a good idea. Remy Rosenthal, how do I work towards becoming a licensed plumber while making enough money to support my family with kids? I tell people this all the time. When I first started plumbing, now remember, when I first started in high school, I didn't have to make a lot of money. After I graduated, though, I have almost had always 2 or 3 jobs for my entire life. And what I mean by that, Paul, thank you so much, brother. What I mean by that is when I was a plumber's apprentice, I was also a bartender. When I was a plumber, I also did security and tended bar. I'm one of these people, I love to work. I just love to stay busy. So I would work 40 hours, even as a plumbing superintendent. I would work 40 hours and then I would go do concert security, 2, 3, 4 nights a week. But it's because I loved what I was doing. At one point, I was a superintendent and I was tending bar Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. And there are times that I tend bar Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and I may do concert security 1 or 2 nights a week. I've always loved staying busy. So that may be how you have to pay for your way to become a plumber. Because as an apprentice, you're going to make, $12 to $16, $18, maybe $20 starting out. And that may not be enough to support you and your family. If it's not, and it's something you really want to do, find a part-time job. I've waited tables. I've been a bouncer. I've been a bodyguard. I've done security. I've been a bartender. I used to build fences and redwood decks. There's a lot of things that I've done to help get me to where I wanted to be. But I knew that starting out in plumbing, it was not enough money to help me raise my family. So I got additional jobs to make sure I brought that money in. If you're a kid at home in high school and you're wanting to learn plumbing, man, what a great place to start. You could actually become a licensed plumber before you ever have to move out of the house if you play your cards right. What a great thing to do. America the Brave. Can I start a business when I'm a journeyman? Me doing the plumbing side and my brother does HVAC side, or do I have to be a master plumber first? America the Brave, where'd you say you are? Georgia? It depends on what the state licensing requirements are. In Texas, you've got to be a master plumber. Actually, you have to be a master plumber with an RMP, a registered master plumber endorsement. I'm sorry, responsible master plumber. Yeah, it's getting late. I'm starting to get tired. Anyway, you've got to be an RMP and you've got to be a master plumber to be that. I don't know what your state requires. I've got one here from El Paso. I like that. America the Brave, didn't you tell me you're from Georgia? The thing is, you can always find a master plumber, somebody's license to work off of. It's not legal here in Texas, but I know people that do it all the time. So there's a lot of things that you can do. America the Brave, I appreciate that, man. Guys, I teach people how to become a plumber, how to start their own company, how to become a better plumber. And that's what we try to teach. That's what we try to talk about. And that's what we try to help people do. I'm going to start getting this thing ready to shut down. Those of y'all that hadn't subscribed, you can do that. I want to start doing this every Monday at 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock Dallas time. If this is something you think that you'd come back and watch, please let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Leave me comments. If there's something you want to talk about, it's nice to know what I'm going to talk about when I come in here. I can always do a little bit of research or just double check things. But I tell you what, I do love just coming in here and just going straight off the cuff and talking about plumbing. I've done it long enough. There's not much of it I can't talk about. But if there's ever anything that you want to know about a specific state or a specific union or how to get in and do certain things, I will sure do my research before we get started. That way I can help give you the information you're looking for. So, saying all that, I'm going to go ahead and get off here, and we're going to call it an end to this Monday. I hope that y'all have enjoyed this. And yeah, Dragon's Rage, you're right. The more you learn, the more questions you're going to have. RMP classes, 915 Richie Plumber. Where are you at? Let me know where you're at, and I will give you my recommendations. Here in Dallas, there's a couple of schools. Bobby Duran over in Fort Worth is great. A little further down south, man, there's a lot of different people that do it. So I will hook you up with anybody that I can. Yeah, 100 minutes did go by fast, didn't it? So anyway, guys, I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the Expert Plumber, and I will see you on the next video if you don't get flushed.